I don't think I've satisfied my need to review a full game. Like, yeah, I reviewed 3 Roblox games, but that was 3 games, not a full-on review. You know what, let's just pick a game at random here. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's get on with it then. Five Nights at Freddy's. Can't have 5 nights without Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy's is an indie horror game created by Scott Cawthon. It's about being a night guard in a Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant where the animatronics come to life at night. FNAF has gotten lots of games since its initial launch, and the franchise has gotten huge. It was so huge, in fact, that the fanbase got kinda toxic. Now, pretty much every fanbase is toxic. I'm not gonna lie to you, and for a lot of the toxic fanbases, it is a small minority being like this, but regardless, it still turned people off from FNAF. For a good 2, maybe 3 years there, FNAF was being shit on due to oversaturation. Like, this damn game blew up on YouTube, it was everywhere. That and the fanbase definitely made some people sick of this franchise, calling it such heinous things as bad and cringe. So today, let's take a look at the FNAF games and really see if they are as bad as people make them out to be, starting with the first game. A brief history lesson. Scott Cawthon was a Christian game developer making games about Christianity. Geez, I thought he'd make games about atheism. His games weren't known too much and were usually received poorly by those who played them. One of these games was Chipper and Son's Lumber & Co., an adventure game starring this beaver guy here named Chipper. One of the criticisms towards Chipper and Son was that Chipper looked like a killer animatronic robot. Scott, knowing this, essentially had the thought of, if that's scary, then this guy will piss his pants down to the ankle once he sees this. Scott then got to work on a game using Click Team. It was a horror game about killer animatronic robots. And now here we are today. So that's enough about the history of the game, let's talk about the game itself. Wow, I never thought Banjo would be scary. This honestly isn't that bad of a title screen. It doesn't give you much in terms of what the game's about, so unless you read the description of the game, you're basically going in blind. And then we got Twitchy McGee over here doing his own thing, don't mind him. Starting a new game and we're put into an office. No, I don't have a joke about this part. So in our little office we can do a couple of things. We can close the doors to our left and our right, as well as illuminate the halls. We can also flip up a tablet, which gives us a security feed of the cameras throughout the establishment we're in. You're going to want to be careful though and manage your power because you only have a select amount before the night runs out. Using your camera, lights, or closing the doors will eat away at this, so you don't want to be wasteful. I'll come back to the power setup later. Viewing the camera feed, we can see 3 animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, who are the mascots of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is the place that we're working at. These guys' designs are great. They hit the perfect balance of happy children's mascots, yet with an uncanny, unintentional, creepy design vibe. If we flip over to a different camera, we can see there's a 4th animatronic, Foxy the Pirate. All of a sudden, the phone rings and we get a pre-recorded message from the phone guy about how the animatronics roam around the restaurant at night to keep their joints from locking up. He also says that if they see you, they might think you're one of them outside of your costume, and thus they try to stuff you in one of the animatronic suits full of needles around the face. He also says that the animatronics used to be able to roam around during the day, until the Bite of 87. What that is, I don't know, but anyway, you don't want them in your office. If the animatronics come into your office, they'll obviously kill you, so you don't want them in there. So this is where the mechanics of the doors and cameras come in. You can track the animatronics on your cameras and keep them out by closing the doors. It's pretty unnerving to try and keep them out of your office. It fills you with panic and fear, so you scramble to find the animatronics, and when you don't find them, even more panic sets in, which causes you to search even faster. It's a vicious cycle, and not to mention that it kills your power. So what's the payoff to all of this? Well, that was underwhelming. Everybody and their dog has complained about this, but the point still stands. Having a jump scare be the payoff to all of this anxiety does not work for a horror game. You're getting scared and worried, but then when that jump scare hits, all the tension goes away and you're hit with a wave of relief. Yes, you will jump at the loud scary noise, but I doubt you'll be scared afterwards. If anything, you'll be angry or sad that you didn't beat the night. Anyways, let's get back to the gameplay. The animatronics have a specific path that they follow to try and get into your office. The only way you can get them to go away is by closing the door on them, and they'll move back by a couple rooms. If you make it to 6 AM, you win. Like I said, each animatronic has a specific path and behaves differently, and because the last few nights can get tricky, I'll give you a couple tips. Bonnie and Chica will show up at your left and right doors respectively. Checking the cameras for them is pointless post night 2, as it's just a waste of power. Instead, all you need to do is check the lights on the doors every little bit, but not too much because that'll drain your power. Foxy comes out on night 2 and will only move a little at a time. He stays in Pirate Cove for a little until suddenly he sprints down the west hallway. If you have the camera open at any given time, it will delay his attack, but I recommend keeping it on the Pirate Cove screen, as you can see when Foxy's actually coming. If you see that he's gone, quickly shut the left door and check the west hallway. This will trigger him to come faster, and thus you don't have to give him all of your attention. Then just wait for him to go away and you can open the door again. Lastly is Freddy Fazbear himself. Freddy doesn't leave the show stage until night 3. He moves like Chica in the sense where he'll show up at the right side of your door. Every time Freddy moves, he'll laugh, so to keep track of him, you can count the number of laughs he does. By 5 laughs, he's at your door, so you have to shut it. If you don't shut the door by laugh number 6, he's in your office and you've lost. It's definitely cool how each animatronic has their own way of attacking you, but I imagine if you're going into the game blind, it's going to be a little harder to figure out how to defend yourself. However, once you do find out, it's pretty rewarding. Like yeah, you can obviously survive until 6 AM using this knowledge, but it also feels fun to micromanage and actually have the work pay off. Like for me personally, trapping Foxy behind the door is super satisfying. So yeah, you beat night 5 and... son of a bitch. Yeah, so there's 2 extra nights in this game, night 6 and custom night. Night 6 is nothing special, it's the same thing you've been dealing with throughout the entire game, except harder. Custom night, however, is a mode where you can control the difficulty of the animatronic's AI, with 0 being the easiest and 20 being the hardest. Now I think the only thing people do here is just set all the animatronics to the highest difficulty, which I don't blame them for, I did it myself. In addition to that, there's also cheats. On my version of the game, the Nintendo Switch version, they're unlocked from the start, which is dumb. Unlocking these from the starts creates no sense of challenge anymore. Having trouble on custom night? Just turn on unlimited power, you'll be fine. I don't know what it's like on the other versions, but I hope it's better. Okay, so we know what's going on here gameplay-wise, but what about the story? Well, it's simple, right? The animatronics just don't see you as a human. They're trying to get you ready for the show, right? Actually, no. If you look around, you can really see what's going on here. Essentially, one day at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, 5 children went missing. And if you can put 2 and 2 together, you can actually tell that the children were killed and are now possessing the robots. Okay, well, who killed them? Was it the phone guy? The animatronics did kill him on the night 4 phone call.
Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
Maybe they got their revenge. Is it me? The player? Why else would they be coming after me? Well, unfortunately, as of right now in the story, we don't know who murdered the 5 kids. Wait, hold on a second. 5 kids? But there's only 4 animatronics. Where did the 5th go? Well, they possess a hidden 5th animatronic, Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is a hidden animatronic that has a rare chance of replacing this Freddy poster in the West Hall corner. Once you flip down your camera, he'll be in the office. Then he'll jump scare you and actually crash your game. Or if you want to see him the easy way, you can just set the custom night's AI values to 1987. Ah geez, that's nice. So FNAF 1, is it good? Yeah, it's not the best game in the world, but you could do far worse. I'm not the first person to say this, and I don't think I'll ever be the last, but FNAF's gameplay style is shockingly familiar to old school arcade games. Simple gameplay that ramps up in difficulty extremely quickly, which will kill you over and over again. It's super weird and something that never really occurred to me. So yeah, it's a fun game. If you do want to play it, the game's available on PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and mobile devices, so yeah. That should do for a review, right? God, I hope so. If it's not, then I just made a fool of myself for talking about FNAF for that long, only for it to amount to nothing.
Wii U のマリオパーティーはゲームパッドで